Well said.
Yep.
So Matt Clark, interim chairman of the Willington, Connecticut Economic Development Commission, calling to order the Wednesday, July 26, 6:30 p.m. Economic Development Commission meeting. Public participation. We don't have any people in person here on this wonderful, beautiful day outside. I don't know if we have anyone online. If there's anyone online that wants to do public to speak, present to speak, more than welcome to do that. Just unmute your mic and speak up. We'll wait a moment. Anybody there? Move forward. We're a very collegial group, so if you feel you want to make a comment or something like that as we move forward, please feel free to do that. The second thing on our agenda is approval of minutes. Mike, I read these. I thought they were great. I don't know if anybody else has had a chance to read them at all, but they look pretty good to me.
Yeah, they look good.
I read them twice, they're fine.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of
Nice.
June 21st.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. And the ayes have it. And we will go to commission business. Commission business, the first item on the commission business is Willington signage. We want to review the proposal and sign locations in the bid submission. Mike prepared these pictures for us.
This actually comes from the bid,
Okay,
and here's I have a color copy. I don't know, John, do you want to do it as a screen share? Because I only have one color.
Hang on.
That might be easier. It'll be a 1 or 2. This was the minute.
Could I make one quick comment? I just noted on the meeting, on the meeting minutes that I went all the way through. Oh, the last ones I have are dated May 31st, but are these supposed to be the June 21st minutes?
Yeah, that was canceled. Yeah, so it'd be,
Okay.
it'd be May.
It should be May.
It came
Okay.
off, the date came off the calendar, not the meeting.
Gotcha. All right, I'm good.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Good catch.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, can you guys see that on the screen?
I didn't see that. I didn't look at it.
Yes.
Yep, it's done. This will be
Right.
the big kick out of this one. Here's what we talked about on the 21st.
Yeah, right. Okay, so this is our signage, incorporated 1727. Welcome to Willington. We have our little logo. The measurements here, single-sided carved sign.
And so in the package, you'll see from the bid submission, so we did this solicitation of multiple quotes. And we didn't hear from one, one ultimately withdrew, and then this was the one that was left in written criteria. And John may have a little more information on this, but in the packet, you'll have a copy of the rendering that John's showing, an email from the person who submitted the bid, sort of outlining the construction, a little bit more of the information, which is also on the bottom there. There's the quote, and then the lettering color sort of options, if you will. What did we have allocated to them? So the intent was to do it at the end of the fiscal year, because then we can get the fiscal year that we just started. So I believe, where is my quote? So I think that there was effectively 2,500 that's going to roll. So we encumbered the balance. So this 4,800 should fall within the budget for the purchase of 2 signs. So it should be within what we've got.
I'm reading over the description that With the food deck, with the signs of all kinds. Dry mix concrete. Vinyl post. Experience in the town of Chaplin. We can look at theirs for an example of what this would be like. Other on the website. This right here, the picture indicates, the description on the picture indicates that they can do this gold or gold leaf.
I'm not familiar with gold leaf. Yeah, you know the terminology?
If it means what I think it means, it means actually very, very thin gold that you press onto and adhere to, the internal, to the lettering. And I don't know, I wouldn't suggest that for the weathering and stuff, but Jeff knows better than I do. I mean, I don't know. But my suggestion would be, not going with that, going with painted thing.
I gotta imagine from the current standpoint, but. John, you know anything about gold leaf?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Matt's description is correct. It actually is extremely thinly hammered gold. And I think it would be, sealed in there so that it, wouldn't just wash right off. But it's, and I mean, it's, it's metal, so it actually does wear relatively well. As long as it's properly applied. Obviously there's a significant difference in price, but
So that's all the thoughts and suggestions I had on that.
It looks like we're only saving $500 though per sign for painted gold lettering as opposed to the 23 karat gold leaf lettering.
It looks like.
At least according to what's shown on the estimate.
It's $500.
Yeah, for each of them. So it would be 1,000 off, I would imagine, this total bill.
I don't have a preference, whatever, I would leave it up, to the supplier and just do it not to exceed. And ask them for what they think is best in their situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff's been around a long time with this stuff.
The other thing that I thought was clever, but not moved, because one of the things we've had some feedback and thoughts from others about what should be on the sign and different things. And I mean, you really want the sign to be, I think it should be classy, it should be easy to read, it should
Absolutely.
not be busy. So if you read his text or in his email, the finials on the top of the sign are spools of thread. So I think it incorporates sort of that the history of the town without sticking some humongous.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was a nice touch.
Your knowledge of those, the town color, do we have town color? Anybody know?
I'm not sure if we have town colors. I would, the seal is not white color. Yeah, it's kind of gray. It might be a little bit of a red in there.
Our sports team, I think, is deep blue, navy blue,
It makes sense.
I think.
I like the way it looks.
I do too. I like the blue with the gold lettering. I do.
Okay, you want it to attract people, and that's an attractive color.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they know they entered here when we passed one of these, so that's good.
And we buy a house with
That's right.
sale painted and polished. No, it's, looks good.
All right, so I think we're in agreement that we like this thing that was submitted. It meets all the requirements, as outlined in our purchasing process. It's a sole bidder and it was left out there for the requisite amount of time. We reviewed the bid, and the design. We think that's pretty good. I think we agreed that we're going to, leave it to Jeff for his, discretion, and we'll approve it as a not to exceed the $4,800 each. And then we need to look at I think we need to look at our areas. And by the way, this is installed too, right? When I was reading this, I think it said
$400.
Yeah, and that's 4,800 for both signs too, Matt, not each, so that's the 4,800 is total.
All right.
For both
And I think,
buildings.
and I think we were gonna do two, we were gonna do two per,
It would be two locations,
yeah,
two
two,
signs.
two per year,
That, yeah, and that would be the hope.
right?
So this will get us to, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
So I mean, we can pull up the color example of all the different fonts and colors if you're interested, but if you otherwise likely to submit it, then we don't need to.
Yeah, no, I like the blue with the gold. I think that's really sharp.
So do I.
Being a Notre Dame fan on there.
Okay, so, I think we can make a motion to approve, the bid as submitted, not to exceed basis, for the design submitted. Anybody want to make that motion? I'll second.
Motion, we accept the June 9th sign of all kind quote for the installation of 2 signs as designed.
Total expenditure of
$4,800 total.
I second,
not to exceed. thank
not
you.
to exceed 4,800. Yep, I second.
All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, nay. Guys have it. We're gonna get 2 new signs, which is absolutely wonderful.
I'm excited.
I am too, so it's very good. Move this over here. The next thing on our agenda is outreach interviews update.
We going to talk about the actual locations.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, John, I have in the folder there, I pulled the 3 locations that I sent to you that I thought. So I sort of drove a couple of roads and looked at a couple of different options. And these are by no means, final, but I was trying to start somewhere. And.
All right, so wait, hold on, this is,
Yeah.
there's location 1, well, let me just bring them all up. Location 2, location 3. All right, where do you want to start? 1?
Let's start with 3. This is
Three?
easy. Yeah. So
Right.
the first place that I thought made sense, and that was mostly because the DOT if they're gonna be located in the right of way, it's gonna be on a state road, there's a DOT process, and not knowing what that looks like. This is the intersection, obviously, in Phelps where Dollar General is, and there's a space between where their guardrail is and the right of way starts, where we could put that on their property. Obviously, we would need an agreement for us to be able to do that, which we could take care of. But it wouldn't require any DOT encroachment permits. And when you come around the corner, you'd stare right at it. And we could, in theory, you'd angle it towards the railroad so that whether you're going right or left, there's really not a good spot anywhere once you get into town from Tolland across the bridge that you could really do something there. So I thought that was a potential location. The only downside to that is it's not 2-sided. But if you're coming from the other way,
You're already leaving Willington.
right, and
So, yeah,
so that was a potential option that I thought was worth exploring.
Is there a sign now? I mean, we have signs now. Is there a sign, an old sign now anywhere near there?
It's that home of Jared Sparks right before the flat pennies.
Yeah, that's
or
a state,
whatever.
like a state historic sign that.
Yeah,
hanging.
yeah, exactly. It says home of
Yeah.
like Jared Sparks or whatever, and
I drove, if you're coming out of Stafford and you're coming up 32, and the topography and the way everything works with the sight lines, you got the railroad line there, there's really not a good spot in a logical place that would make sense to say, welcome to Willington, until you're well into it. Just to me, so the next spot was, you want to go to 2 or 3, doesn't matter, John.
That would be facing towards 84.
Yes. So as they come down out of town and they come into town, they would see them.
So we don't need their approval. We just need to inform them that we're gonna be doing this and work with them. The owner of the property where the Dollar General store is.
Well, we would need their approval to locate it on their property. We could we could alternatively go through DOT to locate it in the right of way, but that may be a complicated process.
So either way, we're gonna get it where we want it. It's just a question of,
Right.
do we get the approval from the owner or do we get the approval?
Right.
From DOT?
So what I tried to do was find locations where we had private property that we could go to if DOT became this nightmare. Second one is, this is a vacant parcel on River Road, just as you come in from Mansfield on 32. It's across from the Eagle. We had hoped and thought and done some preliminary zone changes for a property owner who was gonna do some sort of higher density housing development. He was gonna do some single family attached, but there's a lot more wetlands on the property than he expected, so I don't know where that stands. But again, he's got a lot of frontage and it's right along the road. It's close to the town line. And if we pull it out of the right of way, we wouldn't need DOT. There's no wetlands. You've got a really long sight line, so people would see it from quite a distance. So it's just after the Eagle before Willington Pizza.
So that would be again, Mike, like if you're going towards Hall School
Yes.
and it would be facing, okay,
Yes.
got it. Just
Yep.
trying to wrap my head around it.
Yep.
Okay.
That would be option 2. And then option 3 was. As you're coming up 74 out of Ashford, on the right-hand side, there's that large commercial building that's way off in the back. They have a really large frontage. They've got a lot of distance along 74. There's a brook and some other things there, so I don't know how the topography might work, but to me, that was another location where we had a commercial business. And you know, there are some towns where if, in this case, there's multiple businesses, but if they have it on the property, they will do something, allow the business to put sponsored by, or if they maintain it, or if they mow around it for them, they'll. So when you're headed into Ashford and you get to the top of the next hill where the Zuliks are, that's where they used to have their sign. And it got kind of weathered, and you'll see the poster there, but the sign is gone. I don't know if that was because it was so close to the road, the plows took it down, or if it just rotted or what. It's been there quite some time. But trying to weigh the traffic volumes and sight lines and topography, and this was the sort of 3 suggestions. And certainly there's probably a dozen more, but this is what I came up with as a starting point.
I definitely like the Dollar General. And
Me too.
I like this site better than I like the one over by, I can't remember the name of the bar,
Eagle,
Eagle. What do you folks think?
I was gonna say I like the Dollar General and the Eagle one. I mean, on the 74 one is great too, but in my head, I was thinking, well, we've already got one coming this way. I mean, we probably should have one coming the other way, so that's just my preference, that's all.
What do you think?
I think from a traffic standpoint, the one down by the Dollar General will see most of it.
Yeah.
The highest visibility. And then I like the one at 32 because I go to you.
TMI, no, just kidding.
But I'm kind of leaning towards 32 and the one by Dollar General.
Let's do that. Good, good. We don't need to vote on that or anything.
And then, you know, I mean, the flexibility you're gonna need in case you run into a problem.
So let's, so when we communicate this, let's just, Jeff's been doing this for a long time. He's been in town for a long time, so let's just make sure that he agrees with us, this is a good idea, and, this is the signage.
I would be surprised if Ralph didn't have some input too.
I mean, I think so
Yeah.
from a process perspective, the next thing that will happen, because this was a bid project, Board of Selectmen has to award. So the next Board of Selectmen meeting, I'll ask them to officially award the project. And then we'll start talking to Jeff. And maybe what we can do is we'll start talking to the 2 property owners or DOT, but we can put 2 survey stakes and we can let you know, and you tell you this is sort of the proposed location, and you could say, oh, or not. And that hopefully won't take too long, but there's going to be obviously a lag time between when we order the signs and he manufactures them. So we know we're going to have 2 signs. We know we're going to put them up. So we didn't want to wait, and frankly, for the previous fiscal year, we have to spend funds. We've got the last check run is the first week of August, so we've got to get that stuff taken care of. So I'll get that going with the Board of Selectmen, and then John and I will coordinate with Jeff and try to communicate with the property owners. Dollar General, I think, would be pretty easy because we've had a lot of contact with them through the process and post. So we can get that.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for, thank you, Mike and John, for all the work on this.
Nice to make a little progress.
Does Dollar General still own that building, or has that been sold to
Garrett Holmes was a developer, so he does Dollar Generals and O'Reilly Auto Parts, and he's probably got, I don't know how many at this point. So I don't think they ever bought it. I think he kept it for them.
next thing on our agenda, I think, there's no more action needed on that one. I don't think so. It's business outreach interview update. I made all my calls.
Oh, yay.
Yay. I got no response. I got one response.
Right.
Tom, I can't remember his name. I don't know what someone tape too. Geez, that's terrible. Knowles.
You seen it?
Yeah, we've seen him. So I'm gonna try and catch up with playing telephone. We're playing email tag with each other right now. So, we'll go from there.
And keep pushing, right?
Yeah.
I've had two conversations with family-owned contractors in town. I used the advice that we got from our Berlin friend down there, and he said, start with a small.
Yeah.
And whom I know personally for many years. I've used their services and I've coached both their kids. So I really wanted to get a feel for how they see this. And their first question or their first concern was, will the information be available to the public? How will it be handled and summarized? Will the respondent's ID responses be treated confidentially? And there were concerns of social media bashing. Both of them talk a little bit about the trade center and what occurred. And then the other one was private info regards plans going forward. Those are great to share, but I've got to be concerned about competition. So they're very concerned about how the information will be handled and or shared. And if they request confidentiality, will be handled that way. I don't blame them. I can't blame them.
Well, I don't know what the public, what the rules are, but from my perspective, we should be able to hold the confidence and report back what people say, but not attribute it to them. Someone said this, and then I tell you who. I mean,
Anything you collect can be requested. So it's a matter of what you collect.
Right, so if you give the results to Mike and myself without their names on it, we don't have their names.
got it.
But once it gets put on a piece of paper, anybody can ask for it, and we have to give it to them.
All right, that's something. That's fine.
Confidential.
So it's anonymous.
No,
Or anonymous, I should say.
right, so if you all agree to call businesses and you know you're gonna do these 5 and you're gonna do these 5, and you pull that information back to us, but don't tell us, what response tracks to which business, then
We don't know.
we wouldn't have that information. You would in your head, but they can't request your ideas, your
Right.
thoughts. But once you put it on paper, anybody can request it and we have to give it to them.
So I think the response is, we will treat it anonymously. And we will not report what you specifically said to anyone. I'll take notes of our conversation. I won't identify you or your business. And someone can request my notes. I don't think they will, but they can. So as long as you don't divulge who you are in our conversation, I won't write it down, and that's anonymous.
I mean, I think these two individuals, respect fathers, businessmen, hardworking guys. And they want to talk. I said, which I'm gonna kick out of this, I said, how can we help you succeed? And both of them generally say, more people, we need more residents. as well as employees and employers in town. We need more homes and we need more people, because more commerce creates people who spend it. And that was pretty much the gist of the two conversations. I had just finished driving down 195 and I asked them, I said, what's going on behind Big Y?
Yeah.
They looked at me, yeah, and they were putting up homes.
Santini
Yeah,
apartment.
apartments, yeah. And then you go further up 195 and you see what's going on for stores. And you say,
That would accommodate all those UConn students.
yeah, so and then they both were very concerned about how the information will be shared, so I agree with you. I just didn't know if that was our platform, and how we're gonna handle
Well, good to check, so.
it. Oh, yeah. Good guy.
Okay.
Thank you, so I don't want to get out.
Well, this will be continuing item. I expect to have more input and things like that. If you want to contact your folks again, you can tell them that it's anonymous, that's fine. If not, that's fine too.
Well, I mean, generically, you start talking about a topic,
Yeah,
and they, especially if they know you, they have no problem letting their head out and talk about it, but that's what we want.
Right.
um,
I
so,
appreciate it.
I'll do upcoming meeting date, if there's nothing else on that subject. What, August 23rd, right?
Mhm.
What do we think about August 23rd, folks?
I might be in Montreal, I'll let you know. On business.
23rd is Wednesday, is a Wednesday.
If I'm planning on coming home that day, but if my week gets shortened, I'll be back. Right now, I would say I won't be here.
Well, then let's not do that. You're a key member of the commission, so.
It's real important.
Yeah, you are.
You are important.
That's right.
I'm in enough trouble going away on the 22nd. It's my 45th, oh, I'm sorry, 46th wedding anniversary.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna tell her you did that.
I was gonna say, you know, tell her you forgot what it is.
We can always schedule something special once we have some movement on the sign stuff. And we can just figure out a date that works once we've made a little bit of progress and go from there.
We'll pencil in the 23rd for now. You can let us know, what's going on. You can let us know via email what's going on, of the signage and things like that in our projects. We need to meet slightly earlier than that, other than the 17th, which is my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, early.
Yeah. Other than that day, then we'll do that, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, and, reports, correspondence, any correspondence?
Nothing other than.
No, so we will, yeah, we received some questions about the RFP, the strategic plan RFP, which was posted at the beginning of this month. We had a little bit of a snag getting the formal proposal up on the state bid portal, which is the sort of the best way to cast the wide net on this. So it was posted at the beginning of the month. We requested that anyone who had questions about this needed to ask them by last Friday, the 21st. We did receive three potential bidders asking questions that sort of asked about whether we would accept sort of a team of multiple consultants. A lot of people asking about the budget, asking about the importance of being relatively local to Willington, if there was some sort of preference there. And we prepared responses to all of those and posted them on the website, as well as responding directly to the respondents that asked the questions. And so I'm anticipating, and the bids are formally due, I believe, on Monday. And again, everything was a little bit pushed back. It would have been nice to have bids submitted before this meeting. But we needed to give everyone a little bit more time once things were finally posted on the portal. So I anticipate 2 or 3 responses at least. And the bidders, a couple of the people that reached out were, known to us. We recognize the consultants. So I would hope that we get some good responses.
So would it be possible just to not comprehensively, but what were the types of questions that were asked? You mentioned
Yeah, let me bring that up.
You mentioned, the partnering kind of approach. I imagine your response was, that's fine, provided, there's one person responsible and controlling, I guess, right?
So we had asked if there was a preference for a Connecticut base, because the consultant team was based in New York and Austin. Expectations with regard to stakeholder engagement, which is something I anticipated, again, because if you'll recall, we wanted the consultants to provide some input about what they thought the most appropriate stakeholder engagement process was. And so I sort of turned that around, that, we did anticipate, obviously, there would be discussions with key boards and public officials and members of the business community, but wanted to leave the specific scope to the consultants themselves on how they propose to do outreach. People asked about budget, about working with sub-consultants, and like the format for the construction of the proposal. And again, we left that to the consultants themselves, obviously, as long as they had a clear scope of work, and then preference about local firms, which again, we don't need someone to be based in Willington, but some familiarity is obviously useful. So those were the questions that we posed.
Response to local firm was, there is a, I can't read what you said there.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, let me I just shut it down.
Yeah.
Where are we? Yikes. Hold on. I'm losing my.
Management response was yes, but it's not an overriding consideration.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. There was a preference for local firm. Was that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
We
had no stated preference for a local consultant, but familiarity with the town is a benefit, and selected consultants would be expected to be physically present as needed for public presentations and outreach. So, if they're coming from Amsterdam or something like that, they should expect to hang out for a while.
Right, exactly. We had mentioned also that we were going to have a grid or a matrix to grade proposals on. Are we still planning on doing that?
Yeah. So and what we will want to do, we put in the RFP that there would be interviews as needed, and yeah, we will. Mike and I will put together, once we get the proposals, some sort of matrix to rate and rank them.
Good. So have you guys done that before, where you've actually had the grid that you use to rate and grade and make selections? Is there a copy of that you can share with commission members?
Wait, I'm sorry, Matt, say it again.
If you have an example or of a grading grid that your firm's used in the past to grade consultants for selection purposes, not just drafts, like this is what we've used in the past, we wouldn't use this one, but maybe something like this.
Yeah, I could distribute something if you like. Mike, unless you thought of something, something that we might have in the share file right now, I'd have to look around.
No, well, nothing that comes off the top of my head, but if we're expecting 3, then it may be that you interview 3 and the matrix you develop is actually the
Part of the
interview.
interview, yeah.
Because if you get 3, you may want to talk to all, maybe it's clear. But typically, we just did interviews on Monday and we have a scoring matrix for the interview questions so that we can all go through the process.
Is there any outreach that you guys think we should do to try and enhance or increase the number of interested parties here? I don't know if I think that's fair. Are we aware of any suppliers that do this kind of work that did not respond that we really think we should ask about?
I think that given that it's on the state bid portal.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we're getting people up from New York with, offices in Austin, Texas. To me, that says that we're reaching those folks, maybe a function of schedule or budget or availability, but I think if we get 3.
When did it go up again?
I think first week of July.
So our time of year isn't holding us back in terms of getting all the responses that we
No.
need.
Consultants don't take the summer off. We're, we respond to bids when bids are available.
Okay, I got it. Terrific. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's really good.
So we'll update you guys, after Monday, just to let you know what we got. We'll send an email around.
So regarding the strategic planning process, I did visit with the Planning and Zoning Commission at their last meeting. I sort of explained a little bit about what we were doing, how it would work, what the goals were, what the mission was. It's generally well received, I thought, from their perspective. Got a couple questions. And then, like I said, the response was generally positive. I asked the chairman there, Walt, if you thought you could have a representative, participate when we get closer. He indicated, yeah, he probably would, and he probably is, well, probably would. And I was wondering if we did outreach in terms of a letter to other boards in town. Have we received any other input from any other groups in town? Not that I'm aware of.
Not at this point, no.
So I think I'll probably end up trying to get on an agenda for the Board of Selectmen to explain what this is and asking them to participate as well. I think I saw, and I could be wrong, I'm not an expert. I think I saw on, geez, I hate to do this because someone might get mad at me, but who does the plan of conservation and development? That's the Conservation Commission, right?
No, that's
EDC.
that's planning and zoning as well.
Okay, all right. I think it was the Conservation Commission that actually might have had something on their agenda. I'm not sure, I don't remember. But I'd like to reach out to a couple of the different groups in town. This will be important too. And I'll be visiting those guys to try and get some participation.
Well, we're gonna have to go to the Board of Selectmen to award, so, that might be an opportunity to have a discussion about it, since we're gonna, whether it be you or me, or somebody's gonna have to go there, represent the project, just asking them to award the bid. So they typically ask for an overview anyways, what's the project, what were the deliverables, what was the process, so would probably be a fair enough time.
Okay, that's good. Any other?
Have you ever introduced it in the written form?
Yeah, I think we attached, we sent a letter from me to the different boards in town, and we also attached, I think we attached the RFQ, right?
I think we
Well-
attached the scope of the RFQ.
The scope of the RFQ.
It also went to the ARPA Commission and was part of the townwide public hearing. So ARPA has a public hearing on the projects proposed before they allocate funding. So that went to public hearing and went to there's 10 people on ARPA or something like that. So it was vetted and there was a hearing on that. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head if there was any public input on the project at the ARPA hearing. Could look at the minutes, but it was publicly available and all the applications were posted online through that whole process as well.
Good show.
I'm good.
Let's see, so we're at 6 here, public participation. Are there any other issues that you guys wanted to talk about? Any other open
I'm good.
items that we think we should be thinking about? So in terms of a chairman's report or an interim chairman's report, as I mentioned before, I rejoined Facebook. And I found a business outreach group on Facebook for Willington, which I didn't know
That's
it existed,
interesting.
so I'll be reaching out to those guys saying hi. So that's good. And I think if there's nothing else, we'll ask for public participation. Bill?
Right.
All right, so no one here in person, anybody online that wants to make public comment about our commission business, please step forward and you shall be heard.
Sorry, I don't have my hand raised. This is Christine Sophis, Jared Sparks Road. the signs that you folks are proposing are quite striking. They're wonderful. And I really look forward to seeing them around town. So I hope this project comes to fruition soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. for
Thank
your
you.
time. We're excited too, so this is gonna be terrific. Okay. And I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the ayes have it. Thank you very much, everyone. Good work.
Thank you, John.